Welcome to another video with the hockey coach guru Coach Frenchy. This video is all about the winner and the loser of the NHL Draft 2022. I will try to do this inside of 30 minutes, give you every team the ranking. Every year I do that kind of ranking. Of course, we cannot project what could happen in the next 5 years, but for what the draft or the pick, all this fun team, that give us an idea what kind of player can make the team, and a long term, the team could have more benefit of the draft players they did today on the NHL Draft 2022. So don't go nowhere. But before we start, we invite you, don't forget to click on the like, subscribe to the show, and below this video, please tell me your ranking. Tell me where I'm completely off or I'm pretty good for what I did. So here we go, guys. Let's start with the Colorado Avalanche. They only have 2 picks. They win the Stanley Cup. They have a round number 6. They get Christopher Roman. And the last player picked in the NHL Draft is the goaltender for the Sherbrooke Phoenix, Evan Zigalov, and that's the only thing I can tell you right now. We cannot give them more at letters D for them. Nothing wrong. It's just they don't have no picks this year and the NHL Draft 2022. All right, guys, let's move on with the Calgary Flames. The Flame guys have only 3 picks this NHL Draft, so they don't have a lot. Around number 2, and then they have to go 5 and 7. Not much to set other effect. We cannot give them a big ranking. We have to go with C-. Nothing again. It's another team have a really good ride and the playoff, and they make some trade at the trade deadline, but not good enough to get a good ranking. All right, guys, the next team is the Florida Panthers. Listen, another team give a lot of pick first, second for the trade deadline. And whatsoever, they have like 7 picks. They are more at the end of this draft, 6 and 7 round. The only player I like me is really Jack Devine. The last players at 221, to be honest with you. I love his style. He's give everything on the ice. He work hard. And then my second player, I will see what he look like, is the defenseman Johnson for the Sweden. Other player, guys, is not impressed by the way they pick. For me, I gave them this time the letter C- for the Florida Panthers. Let's move on for the next team. So the next team, guys, is the Boston Bruins. They gave a lot of, again, a couple of picks because last year the trade deadline and this year, so they don't have no first round pick, and because they gave to Anaheim Ducks. But overall, they have 6 picks. Not bad. I like their middle of the pick, honestly, but not great. And I have to go only with C- with them. I don't see one, maybe Poitras, but it's a long term if you can make the NHL one day. Otherwise, it's not sure, to be honest with you. Let's move on with the next team. The next team is the Vegas Golden Knights. Not bad overall. Of course, another team with no first round pick, so they cannot get great rates. But I like what they got. Sapovalit is a great player forward for Saginaw. Have a good year with 52 points. I like, of course, the goaltender Whitehead for the Lincoln Star at the round number 4 will be interesting. And then Ben Emmerling, I've read Silvertip, is another player what I would be interesting to follow him, honestly. But overall, the Golden Knights for me is only the letter C, is a team with 6 draft pick and no first round. So let's move on to the next team. The next team, guys, is the New York Islanders. Another team, they don't have first round because they trade their 13th overall pick for Romanov for the Montreal Canadiens. They have only 5 picks, but I like 2 of them. Cal Odelius, great defenseman for Sweden. I expect a lot. I would not be surprised when they play in NHL. It could become a second pairing. And then A 98 for me is a steal. Is a George. I got him about 55, 60 on my projection ranking. And I think for me, is a good defenseman. Another great pick for the Islanders. For this, whatsoever, they have only 5 picks. Plus, they got Romanov. I give them a ranking C for them. Overall, it's not bad. I think fans for the Islanders would like to get that team better. But let's move on to the next team. Here we go, the Ottawa Senators. First of all, they make a big splash. They trade for Alex DeBrincat. They gave away 3 picks in return only. So right away, they did very well. They don't have no first round pick, and then the second round pick have to wait until 64. So it was not like easy to get great players overall, but I like the middle of the draft pick. And Norberg is going to be interesting how he's going to develop. He's a good defenseman from Sweden. Overall, it's okay. They get a goaltender, Riddler, but we'll see, guys. I'm not too much impressed, but they have no choice. They pick most of the 4th, 5th, and 6th, and 7th. So for me, Ottawa, I have to give them only the letter C. Let's move on to the next. Here we go, the Tampa Bay Lightning. Listen. Not many pick, 6, only 1, and the first 2 round pick. And then, but I love what they did. They got at 31. Their selection was Isaac Howard for the U.S. national team. Great forward, really skilled, good skater. 82 points last year on the USHL mixed with NCAA. I believe this is a great player for them. The rest, it's again, they got a goaltender, a 5th, Malik, and at the end, but maybe not a much. But overall, because they got award guys, I have to give them credit. Without second round pick, the Tampa Bay Lightning have to go with the letter C, guys. So that's one my classification for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Let's move on to the next. The next team is the Edmonton Oilers. Again, another team does not have a lot of pick. They try to make some trade deadline at the end to improve the team for the playoff. They did very well. They went to the 3rd round, but they don't have 2nd round pick, 3rd round pick, 4th round pick, then only 1, 5th, 6th, 7th. They get a 1st round pick. They bit surprised me. They get Red Schaffer. Good players. I'm not sure as a round number 1, he should be there. For me, it was around 60. He could drop a 45, but that's what the way they decide to go. We'll see how he's going to develop the forward. For me, I need to get them, guys, only the letter C for the Edmonton Oilers. Let's move on to the next team. All right, the next team is the Pittsburgh Penguins. Another team, guys, for the last couple of years, they don't have a lot of prospect because they trade at the deadline to get a push at the playoff. They have only 1 pick in the first 4 rounds, so that's not great overall, but I love the pick 21. Owen Pickering, a great defenseman from Swift Current Broncos. Good on offensive, but great on defensive. Big guy, 6'4". I love this pick, but unfortunately, it's the only one. And number 4, they surprised me with the goaltender from Michel and Michel Murashav. I like him, but again, we'll see what could happen. Zam Plant from the Chicago Seal could become a good player. This is someone we have to follow up. Overall, not too bad. I'm going to give them a C+ for the Pittsburgh Penguins because they got Owen Pickering. I'm pretty sure he's going to play in the NHL at some point. Let's move on to the next team, everybody. All right, guys, the next team is the Los Angeles Kings. First of all, we know they trade for Kevin Fiala. They have to give the 19th overall pick to Minnesota Wild. So they have a little bit no pick until 51. At that level, they got Jack Hughes. I love this pick because Hughes in my projection was around 35. He's the son of the Ken Hughes. Great forward, very smart. He can read the play well. Good skate, not great, but he's a good skater, but really, really smart. I like that pick over there. After that, I'm not sure about Kenny Connors. Honestly, one thing I like, the round number 6, Jack Sparks. He's a big guy. Now, it's something we have to figure out. Nobody knows him because he's from St. Michael and he plays in the OJHL. It's something you have to be patient how he can develop. But overall, the fact they did a couple of good picks, and it was late, I have to give them another C plus for them for the Los Angeles Kings. So let's move on to the next team. All right, guys, Toronto Maple Leafs, another team, no first round pick, but because they trade with Chicago Blackhawks, their first round pick, 25th for the 38, and they send the goaltender Merachek to them. So, and 38, they get Fraser Menton for Kamloops Blazer. Good forward. I like this pick over there. I like what they did also with Mullen Harrier for the Chicago Steel, round number 3. And then they get the goaltender from the Sweden. Would be interesting. This is a long project. But the fact they don't have a lot of pick and they get pretty good. Toronto, they don't get a lot of prospect, but when they pick second round earlier, they get good players. I'm going to be really interested what Menton can become. I have to give them, guys, a B- for the Toronto Maple Leafs. They deserve it. We'll see how you're going to get out of this draft. But again, with only 5 picks, we cannot ask more. And I think overall they did pretty good. Let's move on to the next team, everybody. And the next team, guys, is the New York Rangers. Again, a team trade their first round pick. And then the first pick of this NHL draft is only at 63. But I like what they did overall. First, Adam Sikora, a Slovakia player. At 63, I think is a great pick for them. Of course, we have to take a time. But of course, I like, Michael Barker from OHL for the Sioux Greyhounds. At third round pick, 97. I think this is a great, for me, was about 70. So I think it's a good one. And then I like the late one, the Barbashev for the Moncton Wildcats. Good forward, 42 points, not too bad. I think a long project could become another good plus for their prospect. But overall, I like what they did with no first round pick. We have to give them for the New York Rangers the letter B-. Let's move on to the next team. The next one is the Washington Capitals. They have picked on each round, and that was pretty good. And then they got 2 solid players. Both of them can play very well in NHL. First, 20 overall pick, the Russian Ivan Mironenchenko. First, this kid could become a steal in that NHL draft. Without his illness, his cancer he got last year, he could become the top 10 in this draft. So I like the way they did it. Then there's number 37, Ren Chesley, another great defenseman for the U.S. national team, USA. A great year. Listen, this kid is 6 foot. I like the way he played on the right side. For me, they get pretty good. Then the number 85, I like the pick, Ludwig Persson for Sweden. That's a great one. Overall, guys, the Washington did very well with 7 picks. 2 of them, pretty sure they would play in NHL. I have to give them, guys, the letter B for the Washington Capitals. Let's move on to the next team. The next team, guys, is the Vancouver Canucks. Look, they have 6 picks, no second round pick, but at the first, at 15, to get Likirimaki, this is a great pick, guy. I was expecting him to be at least top 10, worst case, top 12, but to get him at 15, this is a great pick. He's going to be a good hockey player in NHL, great skater, but he can score, guy. He have an amazing, great shot. His accuracy is good. Vancouver, you fans going to love Likirimaki. Then they got another Elias Pedersen. Maybe not like the first one, but he's a defenseman from Sweden at 80. The rest, not guarantee anything, but the fact they got Likirimaki, guys, we have to give them for the Vancouver Canucks the ranking, the letters B. Well done for the new general manager, Patrick Lavin, over there. Let's move on for the next team. The next team, guys, is St. Louis Blues. No second round pick, no 7th round pick, but I like what they got. At 23rd, they pick Jimmy Snuggerud. I love this center. Great work ethic. Good players. He can play offensive. A two-way center. Playmaker. I like Snuggerud. He work hard. The center with blue will like it. I'm strong. Nail it. I think Snuggerud is going to be a good, at least bottom 6. The rest, I would be interested to follow Marc-André Gaudette for the Academy batters and QM. Otherwise, it's average. The fact they don't have second round pick is a little bit hurt them. I'm going to give them, guys, the letters B for them overall because of Snuggerud. So let's move on to the next team. The next team, guys, is the San Jose Sharks. 3 pick and the first 45. They got at 27 the big forward center 6'4" Philip Bisted for the Sweden. At 34, Cameron Land for the forward for the Granby Campbell. This little bit surprised about this one over there, but I love the Medias Avelin, the defenseman for the Sweden, of course. Right defenseman is smart, but it's great transition, play hard, and I like the way he play on the offensive side. Could become a good power play at some point. I'm pretty sure 2 of them is going to be in the NHL. I'll be interested to follow Mason Pitt, the goaltender for the Spokane Chiefs. Then I like the pick Jake Furlong for the defenseman for the Halifax Must-Head. Will be interesting how he's going to develop with time. But for the San Jose Sharks to get 3 picks from 27 to 45, 2 of them pretty sure is going to have a good career in NHL. I gave them, the San Jose guy, the letters B. Let's move on to the next team. All right, the next team, guys, is the Flyers. They have a lot of picks, honestly, but they have the 5th overall pick, and the way they got is Connor Gauthier. This is a great pick. They deserve when I'm going to ranking because Gauthier, for me, is my wild card on the top 10. The guy works so good. He's smart. He's a great oriented offensive. Not scared. He go back and forth. Great forechecker. He's going to be a great power forward for the Philadelphia Flyers. He's the kind of culture the Flyers did all the time. Play hard. Blue-collar players. Plus, he's a good on offensive. Scored 34 goals last year. This is great. I love their pick number 69. David Kaplan, same teammate at Gauthier, a big 6'3" right winger. This is going to be another player for the Philadelphia Flyers and the same mode like Gauthier, work, and really good on the defensive zone. The rest, not bad, but they are 5th, 6th, 7th, so we know sometime how this turn. But overall, the Flyers guy, because they got Gauthier and Kaplan, I gave them the letters B. Let's move on to the next team. Here we go, guys. The Nashville Predator. Not many pick, only 6 overall, but I like the pick number 17 guy. Was maybe another steal. Kemel was supposed to be in the top 10 because he's smaller. He get passed for many other teams and get picked by the Predator. Great offensive player. He score. I like the way he play. He played with the man and he have 23 points, 15 goals. This kid's going to be a great hockey player. Nashville will be happy if you're a fan of the Predator. I expect him possibly play top 6 one day. I like also, of course, Adam Ingram, the forward, 82, a kid from USHL. I thought he was going to be around 60 out, but you're going to like this player, possible play bottom 6 in NHL. The rest, it's not bad, but because you got Kemel, I give them guys the letters B. A great draft overall for the Nashville Predator. Let's move on to the next team. The next team, guys, is Carolina. Coach, you put them really high. Why? They don't have the first round pick. True, you're right. But listen, guys, 60, they got Trikazov. Great forward. Is fast, his speed is great. He have a good hands. He's good oriented on the offensive side. You fans going to love this pick at 60. He could be a second second round. Then you go to love, of course, a 71, Perivalov, another great steal, another Russian player from MICHEL. Then you go to love, Force Mark. A 101 guy is a steal, should be about 80, 75 defenseman from Sweden. Then Cruz Lucius is a brother of Chad Lucius for the Winnipeg Jet, played for the U.S. national forward. There's a bit longer time for him to develop. The player for the national was pretty good in front of him. Then I love this pick, the Grodinin for the MHL Russian again. I love is 156. Vladimir could be 100 or maybe lower. For the fifth round pick, this is a steal. In my eyes, they got a goaltender Vadras, where we see how he can develop for Czechia. Finally, another Russia. They really pick overall, guys, all the players, or most of them, only one from North America. So for me, because they get a lot of good players late in this NHL draft, I have to give them, for the Carolina, the letters B. Let's move on to the next team. All right, guys, the next team is the Dallas Star. Listen, 18, get the defenseman, 6'6", Leon Bichel is a great defenseman. He looked like Zadorov. He's not afraid. He hit hard. You cannot play around with the mess up with him. He's going to rank you. I love this pick. I love the Kiru. For me, he was one of my wild card players, defenseman, good oriented offensive too. He great for the Eric others and the OHL. I like this one. And then MEILLEUR, the goaltender from MHL for 147 would be interesting. Because they got Bichel, Giroux, guys, I give them for the Dallas Star the letters B. Overall, not too bad with 7 pick. And we'll see what they're going to look for Bichel in NHL. Let's move on to the next team. Next one, Minnesota Wild. Now we're getting no more because those picks are great for Minnesota Wild. They got the 19 from the trade with Kevin Fiala, and they get Liam Holmgren, great forward, great offensive, very smart playmaker. He had a great year last year. Listen, he's going to be a great asset for the Minnesota Wild. And then 5 pick later, they got the Russian Danila Yurab. He should be in the top 10. And he slide all the way to 24. Just the 2 players right there, they're going to make the NHL at some point. I love what they get right there for Yurab. Then a little bit later, I like the David Spacek at 153, the son of Jaroslav Pacek, play in NHL. We'll see what he look like. Lawrence at 56 and HUNTE for the Hay. I'm not sure about him, but overall, guys, the Minnesota Wild with 2 pick first round and get Holmgren and Yurab. I'll have to give them B+. Great draft for the Minnesota Wild. Let's move on to the next team. Here we go, the Detroit Red Wings. You know who they are. You know Steve Yzerman. First of all, before the day 2 start, he traded to get the goaltender Ville Husso for the St. Louis Blues. 9 pick, I believe, for them. Again, we know what they did for the last couple of years, how they built that team with Zeller, Raymond, Soderblom, and now they got also Edvinson, this team, and the goaltender Kosa. Now, they got 8 guys. My best wild card of this draft, Marco Kasper, the Austria. An amazing, great players. You guys, you're going to love this pick. Kasper is going to be one of the great hockey players in NHL. Not to be surprised he become a top 6 second line or the 3rd line for the Detroit Red Wings. Just a good hockey player. For the rest, guys, I like the pick Dallin James, a forward, and Bichnet-Nikov at 52. I think it could be a little bit earlier. The rest, not sure overall, but the fact they get Kasper, guys, Detroit deserve to get that letter. Of course, the B+ for Steve Yzerman. Plus, they got Ville Husso. Great 2 days NHL draft for the Detroit Red Wings. Let's move on to the next team. And the next team, guys, the Devils, for the last 3 years, they pack, they peel, they get pick, prospect. And this one was not different. 8 pick, and they got Simon Nemec, 2nd overall pick. Shocking. Everybody was expect to get possible Shane Wright or Lucan Cooley or Slavkovsky. and they go with a defenseman, Nemec, one a great, maybe the best defenseman on that NHL draft. Then at 46, another defenseman for U.S. national team, Seamus Casey. I love that pick. And then I love the fact they went with Tyler Bretton, the goaltender for them. That's great. I love the Daniel Orlov at 110. So overall, guys, again, Tom Fitzgerald, he did it again. I love Tom Fitzgerald as a GM. Nemec, guys, is going to be a great hockey player. With KC, could be a good second pairing or the third pairing in NHL lineup one day for the Devils. I have to give them, guys, the letters B+. Another great performance for the Devils. Here we go. The next team, guy, is the Winnipeg Jets. Wow. The Jet did so good for me. Look, 14, Roger McGrody for the Team USA. Great players, work hard, blue-collar players, good offensive, good skater. 14, you will love it. Then at 30, a steal, Brad Lambert from Finland. Another player both of them can become one of the two great assets for the Winnipeg Jets in the next couple of years. And then at 55, the defenseman Elias Salomonsson, where a lot of people expect him to be about 38 to 45. So to get him at 55 is pretty good. Then they got, of course, the DANY Zilkin, another great player for me, could maybe go one day in NHL. Because you got Lambert and Roger and Elias Salomonsson, guy, we have to give the Winnipeg Jets the letter B+. Great performance for the Jets at the NHL Draft 2022. Let's move on to the next team. And the next team, guys, is Chicago Blackhawks. We know what they did. They trade Alex DeBrincat for 3 picks. Not sure about this trade, but they have a lot of pick, 11 on this NHL Draft 2022. Overall, they did pretty good. It's the team right now, they go from the bottom, completely rebuilding. And that's the reason they make a lot of trade to get 3 pick first round. They got the defenseman Kevin Korchinski a little bit earlier at 7, but he's going to be a good defenseman for them. Frank Nassau, a 13 guy I love. I thought Nassau could be out earlier. That's a great pick. Then they got from the high school, Minnesota, the big defenseman, 6'5", Sam Rezel. Is going to be great. He's going to play a college next year. And then at 39 guy, they got Paul Lonwinski, another wild card on this. And then Rand Grieve, another great hockey players for that. They have 5 pick in the first 2 round, guys, for the Chicago Blackhawks. That's the way to rebuild completely. And because they got great pick overall, I have to give them the letters B+. Not bad. I know I'm a little bit disappointed with the fact they trade Alex DeBrincat for not much. We know they trade, of course, Kirby Dak to get the number 13 overall pick for the Montreal Canadiens. And but again, overall, we have to give credit. They get a couple of great players. They're going to play for them in NHL. So B+ for the Chicago Blackhawks. Let's move on to the next team. Guys, the Anaheim Ducks, unbelievable NHL Draft 2022. First for Pat Verbeek as the general manager for them. Look, guys, let's start with the pick number 10, Pavel Mityukov. Great defense. You go with Jimmy Tristel. This is going to be a great pair of the defense. Then they go bigger at the center. They get the Nathan Gauthier for the Quebec Rempart, a blue collar, 6'3", play hard. Is another bottom 6, third line. This kid could be great for them. Then was not over. 20 pick later, they got Noah Warren, defenseman 6'5", from Gatineau. Tristan Luneau. This is another steal. He was supposed to be at the end of first round pick or beginning second round pick. Luneau, 6'2", defenseman for the Gatineau. Great defenseman. So they got 3 defensemen in the top 53 overall. They just rebuilding from the back, and we have to give credit for the accomplished. The rest, not sure what it looked like, but because they got Luneau, Warren, Gauthier, and Mityukov, guys, we have to give them a B+. It's almost an A-, to be honest with you, but great performance for Anaheim Ducks. Let's move on to the next team. Here we go, guys. The Columbus Blue Jackets. Wow. A second year, after they got a couple of picks, they got, of course, another pick from the Chicago Blackhawks on that one for Zed Jones. So they got a sixth guy, David Cherechek. After Nemec, I believe Cherechek is the best defenseman in this NHL draft. At 12, they got another defenseman, Denton Medichak. Listen, this is going to be the top 4 defensemen at long term with Bovis Wawrinski, Cannabis guy for long term. They got Zillinger last year. They got Wayne Johnson over there. Plus they add Lucas Delbellus, could be at the end of the first pick round. And they got it at 44. It's from Mississauga. A great offensive, 76 point and 68 game. I love Lucas. Then Jordan Dumais at late beginning of the third, at the end of the third round. An amazing, great forward, 109 point, guys. I thought Montreal was going to get him. They go to another direction. I love the Dumais. Then at 109, guys, they got the Russian Dazankov. I love this pick, of course. Overall, guys, Cannabis did an amazing, great job. And we have to give credit for the general manager. And I have to give them A-. Wow, what a 2 days for them in Montreal, the Columbus Blue Jacket. Let's move on to the next team. And the next team is the Arizona Coyotes. 3-pick first round. It's a team start from scratch. They get building more prospect year after year. First of all, they got a gift. They got Logan Cooley, number 3. His ceiling to become an amazing, great player, guy, is unbelievable. We don't know what he's going to be, but Logan Cooley with them be great. Then they got the big center winger from Winnipeg Ice, 6'4", Connor Kiki at 11. Another great pick. And then they go with Maverick Lamoureux, defenseman, 6'7" for Drummondville and QM at 29. Great there. And then it was not over because they got after that Duda and from Russia, and then defenseman. Then they got Julian Laz from Germany. We know how he played with them the last 2 years over there. Look, and it was not over. They got Matika and Langlois, round number 3. That's gave them, guys, 7 pick in the first 3 rounds. You cannot mess up with that. I love the pick. I love how he's doing over there. Armstrong, second year, they pick for the Coyotes. That team's getting on the right direction. You have to be patient over there. We know it's going to take a little bit longer. But Armstrong doing a good job. And for this, guys, with 3 pick overall first round, we have to give them A-. Let's move on to the next team. Next team, the Buffalo Sabres. Same thing, 11 pick, 3 first round pick, and they start at 9 with Mathieu Savoie, the 5'9", maybe one of the best offensive players on that draft. Great pick at 9. Then at 16, they got another great forward for Sweden, Noah Aslan. They was not over. They go with, after that, from Czechia, Jiri Kulich. 3 picks, 3 forward. It's all about offensive. Look, this was great. And they did not stop. They get a goaltender, guys, second round pick, 41. That surprised me. But on Leinonen with Bretnan was the best goaltender on that pick, on that draft. They take a chance with him. We'll see how he's going to develop. Great selection of players, guys. When you get Savoie, Aslan, and Kulich, you cannot make a mistake over there. You have to give them an A-. Great performance for the Buffalo Sabres. 11 pick. Another team, guys, they have a great future. The Ramos Sedin over there. You have Owen Power, Peter Krebs. This team is full of prospect over there. I just love the Buffalo Sabres, the direction they are going at that moment. Let's move on to the next team. The next team is Seattle Kraken. And I'm sure right now, they never thought they're going to get a gift, a Santa Claus gift, because they got Shane Wright. When they start that day 1, I'm sure Ron Francis, he never thinking to select Shane Wright. They was targeting more like Nemec or maybe Carter Gauthier. But to get Shane Wright, because Montreal did not take him, Arizona did not take him, and then the Devils did not take him. You cannot make any mistake with this. Shane Wright is going to be a great pick for the Seattle Kraken, a great hockey player in NHL. Then, second round, they got 4 picks, 35. Jagger Furcus could be a first-round pick, guys. Love this kid. Great, offensive-oriented, fast, speed. Then you got Jenny Neiman, another my wild card for him, a big winger, 6'3" for them. Then you get the goaltender Coco. This I'm not sure. I love the David Goyette guy at 6'1". Goyette could be 40. Love is oriented offensive side. Then the defenseman 68, Ty Nelson, great defenseman for the Norway Battalion. Have an amazing good year overall for them. I love what they got. The rest is not too bad, but again, because you got Shane Wright, Furcus, Neiman, Goyette, and Nelson, 5 players, pretty sure at least 2 of them, maybe 3, is going to make the NHL Kraken. We know Rumford did not do well last year, but this year we have to give him a big A for this evaluation ranking. Let's move on to the next team. Here we go. The last team ranking by the hockey coach, Guru Coach Frenchy, is the Montreal Canadiens. I know you're going to say, oh, you're a big fans of the Montreal. Do you give them this ranking because you are the fans? Listen, if you follow this ranking from the beginning, it's because they are possible they have 3 or maybe 4 players can play in NHL one day. And every ranking I make today is 3 things. First, the number of the picks. Second, the number of the first overall pick and or second round pick. Then, thirdly, how many players can make the NHL. It's all about projection, but again, we have to give credit for the Montreal Canadiens. They got a number 1. They won with the Slovakia, Gerard Slavkovsky, big power forward. I don't have to give you more information. If you follow me, you know what I'm talking about. Number 26, Slovakia, they got Philippe Méillleur guy. Another great offensive player from Slovakia is going to be play in NHL at one day. Speed, he played the right way, and we have to give them Montreal to get Méillleur. Of course, they also trade Romanov and Kirby Dak. That's not the position of the ranking for the NHL draft, but they add one more young man at 21 years old. Then 33 guy, another player center, Owen Beck. Great two-way players, play the right way, good skater, good offensive oriented. And then at 62 guys, could become a steal. Lane Hudson, supposed to be a first-round pick because he's only 5'8", but what a players, shifty, hand, skating, he have everything. The only problem is 5'8". Can he go through NHL at some point? If he does, this is going to be really a good one. What about Vincent Rohrer for Ottawa Senator? Great hockey player at 75. What about Adam Ekstrom for Sweden, defenseman? You get another offensive players. Cedric Guidon at 127. Jared Davidson, 20 years old. Of course, but this kid is a leader. He carry on the Seattle Thunderbird the way he play on the ice in off-ice locker room. We don't know about the goaltender Croteau, to be honest with you. And the last 2, not sure. Tourigny is maybe a long-term, but I don't see too much about them. But again, because Montreal have Slavkovsky, Méillleur, Owen Beck, Lane Hudson, and Vincent Rohrer, 3 of them, pretty sure, possible 4 make the NHL one day. I know I'm excited. I know I'm a fan of Montreal Canadiens. I know you go tell me, Coach, you favorite your team. It's not because I favorite my team. It's because they pick the right players. Many of them go to play for the Montreal Canadiens a long term. Yes, I give them an A+. Yes, you can leave me this below video. You favorite your team. It's okay. But I know my selection ranking was all the way the same pattern at the end of the day. Here we go, guys. You know now my ranking. It's not an exercise easy to do, first of all. The second thing is a projection. You don't know in 5 years how it's going to turn around. But because I like to do those kind of information, I'm sharing with you. Below this video, tell me what you think about my ranking. Understand I took Montreal Canadiens. I can feel how you think about this. But at the end of the day, guys, I just love sharing my thinking about hockey. Hopefully you enjoy it. Don't forget to click on the likes. Don't forget to sharing this video. Don't forget to leave me a comments below this video. And at the end of the day, hopefully you enjoyed the NHL draft. We've been live streaming the 7th round from the beginning to the end. I appreciate each one of you been with us during those 7-8 hours, or maybe not more, maybe 8-9. Otherwise, guys, thank you again. And of course, you have greatness inside of you. Have an amazing, great, blessing day, everybody.